My name's Josh. I'm going to talk you through, in this presentation I'm going to talk about a research project that I conducted and the different types of research methods there is. I'll also tell you about the strengths and weaknesses for all. Starting off with quantitative data. This is a formal, objective and systematic process in which numerical data is used to obtain information. It is generally deductive. A researcher will test a hypothesis by observations to attempt to prove the hypothesis. It is designed to establish relationships, differences and causality. Quantitative data depends on accuracy and precision of data collection as it relies on measurement and statistical analysis. As an example of quantitative data, a study was conducted to see if Premier League football clubs played better at their home stadium or away via shot accuracy and attempts on goal. The study found that these statistics increased by 20% when playing at home compared to playing away. As a result of the data, the home team is often the favourite to win. The strengths of quantitative data is that large groups can be researched, and some researchers then think it is important to generalise results. That is why they like to research large groups. It allows, if the investigation is designed correctly, it allows researchers to using quantitative research to assess cause and effect. This allows researchers to investigate the effectiveness of treatments. Quantitative research allows the testing of a null hypothesis, which is research that has no results at the end of it. This allows researchers to assess the accuracy of theoretical predictions. Also, people see quantitative research free from biases, as it is numerical and objective, therefore more credible. The weaknesses of quantitative data is that researchers can conduct into large groups from many different backgrounds. Researchers will have less specific knowledge across the board, across a broad population, than if they was to research a group from a similar sporting backgrounds. So you have a weakness from your strength. The strength is that they can research large groups from quantitative data, but it could be a large group from many different backgrounds, which will just, the results will be too generalised. Moving on to qualitative research. This is a subjective, non-numerical, and therefore opinionated. It looks to explain why rather than what and how, like quantitative data does. Qualitative data tries to explain relationships, differences, and causality. It can produce quantitative data. For example, a researcher may find football teams perform differently based on home or away games, so they could collect numerical data on attempts on goal and shot accuracy, just like the example used with quantitative data. They'll find that these numbers increase for a specific home team. Researchers may then explore why this is so, and then you can draw conclusions from that. Advantages, strengths, qualitative data. These are providing better quality knowledge than quantitative data because it explains why there is causality and differences. Qualitative research can be flexible for the needs of participants, which makes the research safer. It also helps to understand why things have happened, and exploring into this can help participants have a better sporting experience. Qualitative data, there are weaknesses to this. It is time consuming. Due to the way it's designed, it will naturally be time consuming because there will be more effort put into explanations. It can take days to analyse performance. For example, whereas counting passes in a football game is not nearly as long. Also, qualitative research uses smaller sample sizes, which makes the results much more difficult to generalise. Moving on to the last research method, which is mixed methods. Mixed methods is a combination of quantitative and qualitative research in the same study. It has disadvantages, such as it has combined the strength of the previous two research methods, and it provides more detailed knowledge that the previous two couldn't achieve alone. It can give stronger conclusions. For example, a conclusion can be made by explaining the results from quantitative data with qualitative research. However, the downside of mixed methods is that it is even more time consuming than qualitative data, because you have qualitative data which is already time consuming, and then you add more data onto that from quantitative data, so that makes it even more time consuming. Also, a researcher may not be competent to carry out both research methods, which may result in the need for a team to be assembled, which will increase research costs. Quantitative and qualitative research, comparing the two. They both collect information on relationships, causality, and differences. They can come from one another. Qualitative data can come from quantitative data. If you find quantitative research, you may not be satisfied with the results. You may want to find out why. Contrast of them both. It is opinionated and subjective, whereas quantitative is objective and factual. Qualitative is inductive, and quantitative research allows for a null hypothesis. Again, no results from the research. Qualitative data explores why, and quantitative data explores what, or discovers, should I say. Quantitative data is time efficient, whereas qualitative data is time consuming. Moving on to the project itself. The project was to take a client to the gym and conduct a research project on how different drinks affect endurance-based exercise. In this situation, the exercise was rowing. We had 3 sessions, 1 session with no drink, 1 session with Lucozade, and 1 session with Lucozade Sport. During the sessions, I observed the client for 25 minutes of the exercise and asked them how they rate the difficulty every 5 minutes on a scale of 0 to 10. 0 being rest, 10 being complete exhaustion. During the observation, I also noted down any signs of fatigue, sweat, drop in technique quality, and reduction in pace. To further detail, the collection method. The collection method I used for this research was observations. Observations take place in a natural setting, so in this situation, the gym, the rowing machine. The researcher, myself, can observe behaviours of the client that the client do not know about. This data, well, as an example of behaviours that the client is unaware of, so we're saying rowing should keep your hands going in a completely horizontal line. The client may not know that they're dropping their hands and bringing it up by in a circular motion, whereas I will notice that. That is a drop in technique quality. The data is recorded on field notes, which is handwritten. They should describe the setting and be as detailed as possible without spending more time writing than observing. So it should just be bullet points, no form, no paragraphs, sentences. Simple but detailed. This method was used because it was easy to do. It doesn't need a high level of competence, and a place like a gym is accessible and cheap. The benefits of observation as a data collection method are that it takes place in a natural setting, the gym, rather than a research setting in a classroom or a laboratory. You can observe certain behaviours of the client that they may not state in an interview, and the research doesn't rely on the memory of the client. However, There are disadvantages to observations, such as it is possible for the researcher to misunderstand what they see. There are difficulties in recording and recognising the correct data, and the client may act differently when they know they are part of a project, and make the results invalid. The research design. This was grounded theory. This is used to come up with your own theory from the data. In this situation, I am showing how sports drinks affect endurance-based exercise. The advantages of grounded theory is that it is better at determining what actually happens and can acknowledge areas of conflict, contradictions, and grounded theory can change as behaviours can change. This design was used because it will help to make better conclusions from the research, as you can produce your own theories. However, the downside of grounded theory are that they tend to produce large amounts of data that can be difficult to manage, and researchers need to be competent to conduct grounded theory research. Data analysis method. This was content analysis. This is a term used to describe methods of analysing qualitative communications, such as observation. It focuses on the context which the research took place, and it is used to research conclusions.